Mercy, welcome to the studio. I'm Mick. My co-host Ivana will be talking to you today. Let me just do a brief intro of yourself for our audience. So I believe you're a digital strategist consulting in Agile, Scrum Transformations and digital marketing. You're obsessed with and driven by a passion to bridge the digital skill gap for African business and thought leaders. You leverage digital channels to create awareness for global competitive edge. You are also a purpose-driven trainer, coach, servant leader, wife, and mum to 6 beautiful kids. That's an accomplishment in itself.
I know, right?
Yeah. You're an alumnus of the W Initiative. For our listeners, that's the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative with the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, and the Access Bank, and the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Did I
Yes,
pronounce that correctly?
absolutely. Spot on.
Absolutely, great. You're a graduate of the University of Lagos, and you have a BSc from the Digital Marketing Institute Ireland, I believe.
No,
No,
BSc in business. Okay, that's a typo error.
yeah,
Business administration. Then I have a professional diploma with Digital Marketing Institute.
okay, and that's in Ireland, yeah,
Yes,
which
in
is
Ireland.
close to my heart, close to my heart.
Oh,
Being an Irishman, okay. I believe you like to dance in the rain, which is an interesting one, okay. And you're a foodie with the rich Akawa Eborn delicacies.
you
So,
tried. It's actually a quiet bomb state. Our delicacies, they're very rich in veggies.
okay, so we might look for some recipes at the end of the program then.
I'll try.
Okay. Your life is governed by your own quote. Maybe you'd like to give us that quote yourself.
True greatness is not in being great, but in the ability to make others great.
Fantastic quote. Why don't you give us a little bit of background of, how you came to to found Learntor and how you got started with this kind of helping women get involved in business and agile.
Lento is born out of pain. Pain literally is driven by pain. I'm almost 50. Many people doubt that when I tell them. So I've been in the IT space for a bit, but not necessarily defined. And I've been all over the place trying this. It didn't work. You try that. We don't have system in Africa per se to help you excel, unlike the West. So in trying to do all of those hypotheses, you keep trying, you adapt, you try, you adapt, you fail. At the end of the day, I found myself in the UK at my daughter's wedding and having a midlife crisis, not sure what direction I should go. And a friend of mine, Olive, now said to me, "Hey, Mercy, I know you're very resilient, your tenacity and grit is unprecedented. Try this course in Agile Scrum. It will change your life." And I did, and it changed my life. Unfortunately, my both parents dead. I've had to fend for myself all of my life, responsible for 8 other siblings of mine. And Tony Elumelu grant, and that's the first time in my life though I've ever heard of grant opportunities for Africans. And I applied. Very last day, I got selected. And Lento was born because of the application from the Tony Elumelu grant. But I think that what made it valid and successful being a sustainable business today is because of the W initiative in collaboration with International Finance Corporation, the mini MBA training they took us through on how to set up your business, how to evolve, things to do, what you need to look out for. But I knew that if I had the opportunity earlier on, I would have blown this market out of the park. So I need to create the avenue for more women to get into the space, not just because it's women, it's just because we have the short end of the stick when it comes to Africa per se. We're not necessarily, I don't know what the word is now, we're not necessarily visible out there, but yet we are very tenacious because I know so many of my friends, women, they do business, they fail, they try again. They fail, they try again. So they are never afraid to really adapt, which is the pillar of Scrum, if you get what I mean. So, but if they had the technical skill, you know what it would happen, what that means for Africa. So that's why I'm driven by the passion to get more women into the sector because it's begging for more women.
Nice. Thank you very much for sharing. I almost every word you say, I think, at least for me, creates more questions, Mercy. And one of these that I would like to touch upon before we continue with other questions is, could you help the rest of the world understand what the difficulty is when you say that it's more difficult for Africa, and also, I guess, the tenacity part? And do you think that's inherent, or is it created from the difficulties?
I think it's created from the difficulty. I know what it means to fail fast. I don't dwell on failure. I don't live by regrets. So I know what it means. Fail. It's okay to fail. And it's
Hmm.
okay to be vulnerable that you fail. But you have to fail fast and be ready to pick your pieces. So a lot of African women, they're very good at that, but they don't get lessons learned, if that makes sense. So we're very good at failing fast. Okay, this business doesn't work, shut it down. Yet you have plundered millions into that business. What lessons did you take away so you don't repeat the same cycle again? So you don't lose money. So that's where it comes to the technical expertise that you need to help you excel. So that's the disconnect, I must say.
Hmm. And could you just give us a short, a simple example of how do you help them? You say they are skilled in failing fast, but not necessarily in learning from the experience. What is it that what's the magic touch that you bring to the table?
The magic touch, okay, I'll use the COVID pandemonium as an example. This COVID era, I've been able to train on average of 300 women. I mean, I'm talking in the peak of COVID,
Wow.
that is March and April. I gave myself up. I started training them on digital marketing. I'm a professional digital marketing with my diploma with Digital Marketing Institute in Ireland. So because of that technical expertise, it gave me an edge. So, in terms of SEO, in terms of having content strategy, in terms of leveraging social channel for your product, which
Hmm.
is a main disconnect for our businesses in Africa. So, with my agile background, I know that what is missing is the know-how. It's not enough to go on YouTube and watch the videos and hear what they say, but you must be able to practicalize this with supervision, with guidance, and that's where Learntor comes in. Learntor is just learn and mentor. So I learn, giving you opportunity to practicalize what you learn so that you can evolve from there.
Hmm. And maybe if we generalize a bit, what role can innovation and agile, I guess this two big words in a sense, can play by pulling a country like Nigeria out of this pandemic? Since we sometimes we try to avoid the pandemic as being quoted way too often, but since it's already on the table, where does and how can innovation and agility mindset, I guess, help Nigeria in general?
I love the pillar of Scrum, which is transparency, inspect, you adapt. It's an empirical process where you learn, unlearn, relearn. So if we can get innovation, maybe is a big word for us in terms of I don't know what we're innovating because we have great minds, we have brilliant intellectual property in Africa. I mean, Ernst Jeff Bezos was in Africa, and Mike Zuckerberg came to Nigeria, and the MD of Twitter came to Nigeria, and Alibaba Jack Ma came to Nigeria. So there's something they've seen in Africa that they keep coming to Nigeria. Something is pulling them. But the disconnect is systems because Agile helps you to put systems in place, helps you to foster collaboration with your team, helps you to make processes seamless. So that to me, I think it's where Africa needs to go, how to encourage transparency, how to learn to fail fast, how to learn to adapt, how to learn to inspect what did I do so well? How can I evolve from that? How can I develop from that? I think that's where it really, really matters and where Nigeria needs to go by adapting the agile way of working. And then the businesses can scale, the businesses can now succeed. The teams will not be so scared because they are scared of losing jobs. You know what I mean? So I think that's my thought. I don't know what you think.
No, I think I really appreciate what you said, Dan. Innovation is something interesting, exciting, but what I hear from what you say is we're not even there yet, or that it's cool, it's awesome, but first and foremost, we need to build this way of thinking, way of relearning, inspecting and adapting, and creating the habits of collaboration, I guess, if I understand correctly.
Absolutely. And I want to give some credit to some great minds um, pushing agility in Africa. Agile Advisor, for instance, I think that is a beautiful team. And there's Women in Agile Nigeria, which is an offshoot of Women in Agile um, globally, but we have the Women in Agile Nigeria. I think that's founded by Anu Golpert. So I think that if all of us can come together collectively and now push this agenda of agility for businesses, not making it so scary, because when you talk agile, they think, oh, I'm going to lose my title, which is one of the major challenges for African business, being the patriarchal structure that we have, the men in control. You know, I'm going to lose my title as the chief operating officer. In an agile team, we're all development team. So I think that's the main challenges that I think that is plaguing African businesses, that title. And title without entitlement, like my pastor says, doesn't mean anything. You may have title, but you're not having recurring revenue in their dollars, in their millions. What are you doing with the title? Why don't you just work as part of the team and build the organization up?
You had spoken a little bit earlier about not knowing there was a grant available, so going with the Tony Elumelu Foundation and getting grant to start your business. What kind of funding is available to women in Nigeria to help them start businesses and get moving?
I would say there are fundings. Honestly, for the life of me, I mean, it's stupid to say that for the first time I heard there are grants. I know there were scholarship that student can apply for. I grew up knowing about scholarship, but I never knew, I wasn't exposed to grant opportunities. The truth of the matter is there's so much money in circulation in terms of funding for women, but if you put, it's like a basket. When you put water inside a basket, it's a waste. Okay, if I didn't have my background in ICT, with understanding what agility means, with understanding digital marketing, 3,050 of us got $5,000 grant. And statistics says out of every 10 startup that start, only one survives the 2-year cutoff. So if 3,050 of us got the grant and 50% of those lack systems, structures, processes that can help them to scale, that money is gone to waste. So it's not enough to give people money. You have to teach people how to use the money to bring other income. I got a grant from Tony Elumelu and I got a grant from Access Bank. But I've been able to use that grant to generate another revenue to add on to me. But if people don't have systems or understand the digital space, because that's where I play, that's my bread and butter. So if you don't understand these things, you're going to struggle. So it's not enough to have a product. Say you have an iPhone. Apple has released an iPhone into the market. They must create awareness campaign for that product to sell. If you don't have those things in place, because it's not enough to say, I'm an agile scrum master, I'm a product owner. You must understand the end goal for every business is to make revenue, is to sell. So if you don't understand how this thing is going to work, giving you money to me is a waste. I need you to teach me how to use that money to make more money, rather than give me money that I will spend on frivolous nonsense. Because if you remember the statistics during the pandemic, that the palliative that was given in the US to businesses, e-commerce went on the rise because people started buying nonsense that they didn't need because they felt they needed it. If they knew that from that $100 that I was given by the federal government, I can use that $100 and generate 120 making a profit of $20, I won't waste the money. But if you don't know how to use this money, you will waste it. So that's the disconnect. So it's not enough to give grants, but you must be able to tell them how to use the money. And that's why I'm very passionate in helping African businesses, thought leaders, get this fact. It's not enough giving us money. We've been collecting loans and grants from the world from time since independence anyway, but you get what I mean. But you must know what to do with the money.
Do you are you then, and I'm making an assumption here, but are you then suggesting that government should also supplement, support, or even create programs, educational programs, and business skill sets in general? A bit of a grouping term.
That's spot on. What stood me out is not because I've been an agilist forever or for 20 years. No, I was exposed to this sector in 2018, but because I learned, I'm very migrate. My energy, it's crazy. My husband goes like, Mercy, do you ever rest? I don't sleep till 2 a.m. So when my success start coming in, you would think, oh, it just happened suddenly. No, nights of not sleeping till 3 till 4, sometimes 2 o'clock consistently is working. But anyway, the issue is not enough to give us grants. I always say, don't feed the stomach, feed here. This is where the real work is. Once you can feed a mind, it will create and recreate more opportunities for others. But when you give me money to eat, to clothe, to shelter, you're building, what's the word? You're creating more poverty for yourself. So if system organization can decide, okay, let's partner with Agile Advisor, partner with Women in Agile Nigeria, partner with Business Agility, come together as a consortium. I want you to train this group of women that are so resilient because we are very business savvy, but we just disconnect because of the digital capability. Train these people for 1, 2, 3 months. Give them hands-on opportunity to work on project. Know what it means to work on project. Know what it means to be a business analyst. Know what it means to be a product owner. Know what it means to be a scrum master. And let them come out into the market. And we have to reorientate. You're not coming into the market with just small expertise to say, I want to start earning the dollars. No, go work for organization for free so that you can perfect that skill. Then you will now raise a new crop of leaders that are technically savvy, that are solution providers, that can impact businesses and grow the economy. I know I spoke for too long. I'm sorry. Sorry.
So maybe I could ask, what role can government play in encouraging more African women into this digital space to help them, as you've spoken about, kind of be there, be resilient, be more savvy? How can government play a role in that?
Collaborate with the right people. I'm not talking about influencers. I'm not talking about celebrities. You understand? Collaborate with the organization with technical know-how that understand that for you to play on internet, you need to be ranked on Google. Google has 94.5% of the world's content. And the MD of Wikipedia says, if it's not on Google, then it doesn't exist. You can't be saying you're building a crop of people. You need to collaborate with organizations. Agile Advisor is one of them. Women in Agile Nigeria, Business Agility. There's so many organizations that are doing the work. But because we don't have that massive following, we're not celebrity, we're not entertaining the world. So they won't come to you. They carry the business to people that are the most noisemakers, wrong role model, that does not have moral compass or technical expertise to promote business. I don't get it. I mean, I'm talking about even conglomerates, massive organizations are guilty of these things. Why don't you get Ivana, for instance, become a brand of a product, a face of a brand? Is it not to make you up? Won't you look nice? With your technical expertise, you'll be able to advise them. Must you be a model? What is wrong with saying, make, become the brand of this particular product in Ireland? Does that make sense? Why are we looking for giving the public, the celebrities relevance, that is not necessarily adding to your dollar, to your equating to your bottom line. I think there needs to be reorientation across board, not just Africa, both the international community and the local community.
So maybe I could ask, how can you, myself, and Ivana go about encouraging governments to provide those supports?
With this type of conversation. But once you do the conversation, don't just leave it and say, okay, yes, somebody is going to see it. You have to push it out there. Use all the digital channels that are available. You never know who is watching. You never know who is paying attention. On LinkedIn, we have a lot of passive onlookers. They are just there to watch your content. Then they connect. You saw me on LinkedIn. I've never met you before. This is my first time ever in contact with you. So if you did not see my content online, you wouldn't connect with me. Does that make sense? So it's important for us to now put a lot of work into it, a lot of thought into what we do, so that way we can actually scale. Because our content that really can change the world is not reaching the right people. So a lot of consultants, all this agent, publicity stunt people will go, yes, I can promote your content. I can promote it. I'm going to get you an influencer. But that doesn't really add to the bottom line. If you're not verified on Google, your content is not on the search console, you're not using the right keyword, I mean, you're not leveraging search engine optimization, how would you ever scale? So we need to put more work, more conversation needs to happen, more collaboration needs to happen, more engagement amongst each other needs to happen, and we have to blow it up to the external market, because even on LinkedIn, the real content is not reaching everyone, but it's such an organic platform. Yeah.
I think that's the reason we're here today, is actually because I saw you on LinkedIn and I kind of went, hey, I want to get to know you. So
yeah, that's the power of digital transformation. That's the power of digitization. Yeah.
That's true.
Before we move to the specific questions related to women specifically in Agile, or supporting and celebrating women, I was thinking, just to ask you in relationship with what you were talking about, which sounded a lot about, how can people sell or make their brand more known? Do you feel that success stories, and I'm not talking about successful branding, but I'm talking about, or marketing, I'm talking about successful business, whether Nigeria is getting better at that, at celebrating the success stories also as examples? So one is the learning part for people starting, but then it's the cases that did work well. Do you feel that there's enough effort also from government or private organizations to say, hey, here's a great example of success?
Okay, I'll say this. I think we bury, as an African, I think we struggle to celebrate our wins. So I speak for myself. And I think it's the same thing, because Nigeria has the most intellect. I mean, we hear the stories, a medical doctor separating twins, great things that is happening all over the globe. So Nigerian is not in short supply of people with intellectual capability, but it's the engagement of these people that now really count. Now, what can the government do, or public or private sector can they do? They need to stop celebrating celebrities. They need to go back to the drawing board. They need to get advice from expert consultant, make Ivana, Evans, Agile, people that are doing the real work. Because, for instance, let me wear my cap as a digital marketer now. I'm a digital marketing consultant. I come to your organization. Instead of me to sit down, map out with my business analysis cap as well, look at the gap analysis, look at your where you are, your Aziz, where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? Um, I try not to go to organization with a solution mindset. I want to know what your challenges are. How do you want to go there? Then I can plan it with you, not for you. Because most consultants, excuse me, plan solutions for this organization, not necessarily with them. So in the process of planning it for them, they disconnect the key stakeholders, which are the internal customers. They disconnect. Go on.
I was just going to say that I'm absolutely sure that both Mick and I feel very comfortable in agreeing on the topic of, the consultant solution versus actually someone helping out the organization, discover their opportunities, but also learn to further discover on their own, rather than here's a
Absolutely.
solution, let's go. Yeah. So we're
So for me, I think it's very imperative that organization really be woke to the reality of what is going on today, how we can evolve the sector. And for me, agile, the thing is, there's too much exchange between agile practitioners. We need to blow it up and get more people into this. Make it as fun, make agile fun learning for many people to come and learn, because honestly, as it says, is the easiest thing to learn, but the implementation of it is the real work, because it deals with mindset. It helps you reset what is in your brain. It helps you unlearn what you have learned. And many people are adverse to change, so they don't want to change. So that's what I will speak to.
And when we look at, changing that mindset, whether it be back in my home country, Ireland, or in Czech Republic where I live, or when you're a woman going into an organization and telling people, hey, we need to work on mindset, it's got to change. How does that go down in Nigeria? How is it perceived in Nigeria?
I try not to even talk about mindset, because definitely you're going to get instant resistance. So there's no
Mhm.
point. I never focus on, oh, we need to change the mindset. I mean, it's all talk, because to change a mind, it's actually, it takes the willingness of the man to want to change the mind. You can't change anybody's mindset. They must see value as to why I need the change. They must see value and connect with that value to what is needed for them today, for them to change. So I approach Agile for organization differently. I help you identify what your pain points are, stylishly infusing agility into the process. Then you see the result. Wow. Oh, whoa. Why didn't we do this? You ask questions. That way, it's collaborative, rather than me say, you need a mindset change to make your business go different. It's not going to work. Sorry. I'm not
I,
trying to.
I think that's a fantastic answer as well. And there's some learning in that for a lot of people as well. So, especially going in as a consultant and telling, we want to go in and start asking the questions instead. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just need to change that. We need to make agile a bit more sexy rather than very difficult, because when somebody hears it, I mean, you know that you need something. Agile is going to help you increase your revenue, increase productivity, measure your performance. Agility just helps you in all facets of your business, even individually. It helps you plan. I mean, you can articulate your thoughts, because you understand what needs to be done. Because it's okay to fail, but when you now go to somebody, okay, let me change your mindset. What you're doing is rubbish. Okay, thank you very much. I'm waiting for you. I just finished the meeting today, and the guy said, "You said you wanted to do something." I said, "No, we're doing it together. We
Yep.
need to change the discourse."
Yeah. On that note, I'm not sure about time, but maybe to just try to quickly touch on the topic of especially the women in agile focus. And we mentioned in the conversation we had right before the live show the risk of whenever there's an organization focusing on supporting women, that it potentially goes a bit out of whack, or a bit too far in
It
the
is.
a bit too far in the female corner. But for some reason, what I like to do is when I enter groups or sessions like this, one of my first questions is, where are the men? And I think I think it is absolutely important for us to find the collaboration and the work, and in some sense the separation for women is a bit risky, I think, in some cases. So I've been wondering, how do you do that in the organization representing and working for or with?
Actually, let me just speak to the fact that I think the issue of, oh, for the women, oh, let's go for the women, I think is blown out of proportion. It's lose its essence because now a lot of organizations are formed. Yes, I'm for the women, but how many women have you really helped? How many can you measure that are I mean, say you've done something, you took a picture up with so many women in the name of NGO, and you've done this for the women. Have you gone back to the women to like check that what you've done is working for them or working against them? Is there a feedback loop to get feedback? You understand? So, yes, my business is for the women, but I'm not alienating the men. I have a growing channel, a community at the moment of 1,000 people that is constantly engaging, that I'm trying to help. And every day, somebody posted when we started here, Mercy has helped me with the business. That's a woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a communication that is going on because you keep testing and adapting. If you're not helping people, we need to stop saying you are actually helping when you're not really helping. So the issue of I like to feel the men's presence. I think is very important in anything that I'm doing. I think their input, it's invaluable because they are not emotional creature like we all are. I can be so happy now and become sad now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, we are.
No, but you're very logical. Yes, I tell people I don't think like an average woman because I understand the way a man thinks. They're very objective. If two guys will fight right now and they'll resolve the conflict. Oh no, two women fight, they die, and they never resolve the conflict. So that's the emotional part of it that comes in. So for me, I cannot remove the place of a man in anything that we're doing. They're so important for you to succeed because what you can see as a woman, they see better and make you think differently because of their
I
logical approach.
I think we need to kind of take that in a cultural perspective as well, because I work kind of with people across the globe, and I work as both a coach, mentor, and I've been involved in diversity and inclusion stuff. So I've been looking at some of these issues, and I think there's a lot of cultural kind of choices as well that we make in some of
Yeah.
these conversations as well. So
I'll tell you this much, yeah. Let's talk Africa. Africa is very patriarchal in the structure.
yeah,
Women are literally invincible in some states. And I don't know, maybe I should do a little bit of personal touching story. I'll say that we're projecting women as they're feeble, like they can't help themselves. And that's a lie. Because a woman is the one that nurses the children. A woman is the one that makes the home successful. So a woman can think for herself. All she needs is the support and the right channeling of that energy that this is what I'm capable of doing. I manage businesses. I run multiple businesses. I fail at them and I'm never afraid to start. If a man fails at losing his job, I tell you this much, he's gonna go wallow. Oh, I lost my job. He's not gonna push. But a woman, no, no, no. What next? That's women. We are not helpless because the way they project the narrative for helping women is like we are helpless creature, and I don't think that's the case. So, as much as the cultural issue is because they made the woman to think you can't think for yourself. You're helpless. You need help. I'm sorry to say, I never needed help. I just needed the opportunity to express what I have inside.
and what advice would you give to anybody, in fact, about that resilience that you have, that bounce back? How do you tell any man, woman, or anybody else, how to bounce back like that and kind of accept the challenge of continuing on?
I'll start with it's okay to fail.
Mhm.
It's okay, fail. But the failure is not what matters. The good book says that you fall 7 times, you rise up again. So that's the best what's the word? Advice I can give to you. It's okay to fail. And when you fail, get into a corner, cry. Cry to the point you're like, you can't cry anymore. When you finish, take a book, take a pen, write down what next. In the process of you holding the pen and a book, you will have an idea of what to do next. And that's the tenacity. I've I've had I've gone through literally hell, being from my family structure, from the background I've come from, being in Africa, that the systems are not there to support what I'm doing. But it's not held me back. I'm talking to you, Mick, you're not in Nigeria. Ivana, where are you at the moment?
Bulgaria.
Oh, exactly. I'm connected to you. So I didn't say it's the government's responsibility to connect me with you, Mick. I did my work. You saw that, you admired it, you engaged with me. So if you
Hmm.
don't put in the work, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's important for women not to think I'm helpless, I need anybody. And that's what has really messed us up, that you feel you have to be dependent on your husband, on the patriarchal structure. Or without the man, I can't do it. You can do whatever you set your heart to do. Just be ready to fail. And if you fail, it is okay. Cry, start again. That's all I can say.
I'd like to acknowledge we have some comments in from Oyebola Amoya. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
And her latest comment is that women are true in Nigeria now. Women are truly evolving, and the narratives are seriously changing, just like the story of Mercy Igbafe. So
Thank
there,
you.
she has a number of other comments in there which have been
Very,
coming across the screen as
very
well. So,
positive. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, I just want to probably try to conclude a bit on the topic of women that we opened. It was really nice to notice that we might have some disagreements on some elements, and I think whenever the topics are so big, we could probably spend 2 days talking about them, and B, as Mick said, there's the cultural, there's also the personal. I think we seem to agree on the point of it's about collaboration, working together, and there is an appreciation that in some areas women could use support, as you, Mercy, said, and I think all of us are, or all three of us, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all three of us are putting effort through our experience in supporting women wherever we feel that helps. But I thought very profound thing that you, Mercy, said was the moment when it potentially becomes a buzzword and a business, and nobody comes back to ask, okay, we put some effort here, but nobody comes back. You said there was no feedback loop. So maybe I think that is probably the most profound thing, that when there is support, maybe figure out how that has helped, so we can also learn how to help better and also ensure that it's really helping. Yeah.
I think we have that problem in kind of most of the things we do, is that we fail to put the
Yeah.
feedback loops in place.
Feedback loop. Yeah.
Yeah, we make assumptions, we go ahead with some plans, and then we fail to gather the feedback. And when we do, in a lot of cases, it's kind of like, well, we tried, right? So we're moving on. And I think we need to kind of work better at how we can actually utilize the feedback loops and learn from them as we go forward as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In project management, it's called lessons learned. We never go back
Yeah.
to that. We
Yes,
never.
and
Many
we've
people don't have any lessons learned record in the organization.
we've seen many projects repeat the same mistakes of the previous project. Lessons
Yeah.
learned went in a folder at the back of the book and went on the bookshelf, never to be looked
We
at again.
we often have these discussions of how much in Agile is actually a different version of repetition of lessons much older than ourselves, and I don't know, even management theory at times. Yet they just need repeating, I guess. So
You have, I mean that's why I love the agile structure, because it's empirical. You keep trying, you keep repeating, and I think the reason that all the lessons learned are logged somewhere is because, and that's why so many organizations don't want to let go of the waterfall a little bit. They infuse it into agile. Okay, let's capture lessons learned and look at it, and because it's part of documentation. Although with agility, you can still do that, because it's not as if it knocks off documentation over process. No, no. You still look at documentation. What can we do better? What did they do wrong? What can we learn? I use my life as an example. If Mick tells me something that he has gone through in his individual life, I say to myself, yes, wow, he did that. I can never try it again. I don't need to test it to experience it. Although many people are wired that way, let me experience it myself, then I can tell the story. Why do I need to do that? I mean, that's my thought.
I think it would be really nice to have a conversation with you a bit later in the future, and maybe about a few more of the what we now call, and that might change in time, the business agility. That is also different aspects, and I think it would be really interesting for our audience to see how things are moving forward and changing in Nigeria. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful you gave us a glimpse into, at least through your perspective of things. But maybe before we close, what would be your message? I guess to Nigeria, to the world, to the government, whatever. Maybe all three. I don't know. What would you like to share as
Okay,
a
my first advice to Nigerian, let me speak to my own fellow Nigerian before I go to the government. You are not helpless. You have greatness in you. All you need is the opportunity to express. And with the right skills for you to express, you will scale. Don't be afraid to start. Start where you are. And to my Nigerian government, stop being beggarly and thinking, yes, you can feed the mind. No, you can feed the stomach, bringing out all sorts of palliative for food, for things that would not add any single value. Pay for the education system. Get people to learn the digital skills that is relevant for today, not just a system that you are memorizing 1 plus 1, which is 2, which you're not going to ever use in any sphere of life. So it's important to develop the educational system and foster more collaboration, both the men and the women, and drop this issue of gender biases because it doesn't even exist in organization. We are more after the outcome, not necessarily what we are doing now. So it's not about gender. We come together, we deliver the outcome. That is men, women working together, collaboration. And to the world, stop seeing Nigerians as fraudsters. We are not fraudsters. We have intellectual capabilities. They are brilliant minds. The world keeps showing records of them all over the globe. Yes, we have a few bad apples with massive following, making the most nuisance of this country that is so filled with talented people that I know. I know so many thought leaders that have such great talent. And as a result, I want you to know not all Nigerians are fraudulent and we have great potential. So the open market that is open to Asia for remote working, open it in Africa and you'll be amazed at the result that you will get.
I think on that note, many countries have those issues, so it's not Nigeria alone. I believe we have people from Ireland who will do your new driveway as well. So so I think we can expect that Nigeria will see a lot of good new business coming out of there as well, especially with the digital age.
Learntor.
Learntor. So if anyone would like to contact you, I assume they can do it through Learntor on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yes, LinkedIn. I'm all over the channel. LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, but on Twitter is with Learntor Me because somebody else has
Okay.
hijacked my name, but it's okay. Just put me in front of it.
Okay, so I think we need to finish up anyway. Our time is up. But Mercy, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure to have you on. Hopefully we'll see you again in the future. You can
I'm
let us know.
available.
Great, good to know. We should be too. And we'll say goodbye for now. I think once we're off the air, we can come back on for a few minutes ourselves and have a little chat. So if Manoy will do the honors.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mercy.
everybody.
Thank you, Mac.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone, for
Bye-bye.
joining.
Bye-bye.
Okay.